Thanks for staying tuned to your station, the Africa Independent Television, and welcome to your program today. This is another edition where we are coming to you from a location outside the studio. Like you can see behind me, you can see Blue Ocean Economy and Maritime Security in Africa, challenges and prospects for Agenda 2063, co-hosted by the Security Watch Africa, Nigeria, and the Center for Military Studies, Siemens from Stellenbosch University. So anyway, like you can see, we are in Stellenbosch, South Africa. Some of you may not know where Stellenbosch is, but Stellenbosch is in the Western Cape of Western Cape province of South Africa. So welcome to today's edition of the program. My name still remains Patrick Abambu. On this episode, we're going to be giving you reports of some exciting activities that took place in the last couple of days behind us, and the reason why we are here where we are. One of those reports we'll be giving you is the inaugural lecture for the Nigerian Army Heritage Center, where the Chief of Army Staff delivered a lecture with a guest speaker, and it was quite an exciting event. Sit back as we bring you this report by Shirley Daniels.
In a bid to expand its scope of intellectualism and historic preservation, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya, established the Nigerian Army Heritage and Future Center in Abuja. The Army Chief revealed the reasons and motives of the establishment. He disclosed this at the inaugural lecture of the center.
The Nigerian Army Heritage and Future Center was conceptualized and established to address observed lapses in operational and administrative activities of the Nigerian Army. To this end, the center was inaugurated on 26 January 2023 and tasked to be a loyal opposition with the mission of serving as a research organization for the Nigerian Army through formulation and development of policy frameworks. Other roles and responsibilities of the center include developing plans for the entrenchment and preservation of Nigerian Army heritage, monitoring and implementation of bilateral agreements that affect the Nigerian Army, and institutionalizing and mainstreaming novel solutions to tactical, operational, administrative, and logistic challenges of the Nigerian Army.
In attendance were former Chiefs of Army Staff and some senior officers of the Nigerian Army. The inaugural lecture was delivered by Professor Abayomi Akinyeye from the University of Lagos.
From the colonial period and up to in the colonial period, the Army was particularly required to perform internal security operations. This was because it was the duty of the British Imperial government to defend all the colonies. And this was at a time when the British Navy held supreme all over the world, leading to the accolade Great Britannia ruled the waves. All that the armies in the colonies were expected to do was to hold the ground until imperial troops would come. So by equipment, logistics, and what have you, the colonial forces were recruited and equipped to meet the exigency of internal security operations.
The Army Chief commended President Muhammadu Buhari for always supporting the Nigerian Army and appreciate officers of the center.
Let me take this opportunity to once again thank and appreciate our President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari GCFR, for his strategic guidance and untiring support to the Nigerian Army. We appreciate Mr. President for the confidence he always reposes in the Nigerian Army, in its capability and ability to conduct its operations and activities. I want to assure the nation of the unalloyed loyalty of the officers and soldiers of the Nigerian Army to the President, Commander-in-Chief, and the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Speaking earlier in his welcome address, the Director General of the Heritage and Future Center, Major General Kamila Kadiri, gave reasons for the successes recorded by the Nigerian Army and admonished officers to redouble their efforts.
The Nigerian Army Heritage and Future Center was conceptualized and established by the Special Guest of Honor as part of his plans to address observed possible lapses bedeviling tactical, operational, and logistic capabilities of the Nigerian Army. The Nigerian Army has a very rich heritage and history which span through its successful prosecution of the Nigerian Civil War and participation in several operations within the country and outside the shores of Nigeria in places like Somalia, Congo, Liberia, former Yugoslavia, Sudan, Gambia, and Sierra Leone, to mention but a few. It was, however, observed that appropriate lessons and leverage have not been drawn from our history to improve our current and future operations. Global trends and practices also necessitate the establishment of a future casting center for the Nigerian Army with the aim of proposing strategies for continuous modernization of the Nigerian Army and better means of fighting and winning land battles. I am confident that the center will grow in leaps and bounds under the direction and strategic guidance of the Chief of Army Staff, who has brought his enviable historian background to reconstruct the past, put the present in proper perspective, and project into the future for the Nigerian Army. I want to most profoundly express our utmost gratitude to our past service chiefs, resource persons, as well as senior officers and other staff of the center for the successful hosting of this inaugural lecture. We thank you all for honoring our invitation. This is indeed a great day for us, and we shall continue to cherish it professionally and passionately.
Shirley Daniels, reporting for Security Watch Africa.
Yeah, welcome back. Like you say, the Nigerian Army, under the leadership of Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya, set up this heritage center to be able to look at Nigerian Army in the past, the present, and project for tomorrow for efficient delivery, efficient service to the citizens. So you can see how important that inaugural lecture is. Yes, let's go to another event that took place. It's a symposium, but it was an opportunity for the launching of 3 important books by the Deputy Inspector General of Police, Habila Joshak. Habila Joshak was the man in charge of operation, but now he's retired, but not tired. He has been very active in security and policing activities. The event was attended by, maybe I shouldn't give you the details, so you must watch this report by Ernest Enuneku.
Nigerians have been admonished to shun acts that would drag the nation into war, as such actions have negative impacts on the progress of the country. The Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Irabor, gave this charge at a Security Management Symposium and book launch with the theme Sustaining the Gains of War Against Banditry and Insurrection, held in Abuja. The head of Nigeria's armed forces stated that comparing the pros and cons of any war would certainly result to lots of regrets and pains that cannot be quantified.
When I say there is no gain in war, it is born out of the fact that violence has no benefit. Why? The cost of the destruction, especially for lives and properties, among several other costs, when put together, whatever gain there are, of course, pales very significantly, and indeed, they could be seen to be non-existent when you put it side by side with the losses that one has incurred. Because when lives are lost, when blood are shed, of course, there's nothing that's going to restore those lives. So is that a gain? No. So from the outset, I would say that there is no gain in war. That within the spheres of our influence, whatever you can do to ensure that war is prevented, please do so. whatever you can also do to deter those who want to take the course of violence in meeting whatever agitations that they have, that you do everything possible to dissuade them, because violence has more pains than gains.
Professor Jidofo Adibe from the Political Science Department, Nasarawa State University, Kefi, spoke on beyond the rhetorics of winning the war against insurgency and banditry, the task ahead for the incoming administration.
Banditry refers to economically motivated armed violence perpetrated by gangs, driven primarily by the intention to extort, dispossess, or plunder their targets. In other words, they don't even pretend to tell you that there's a higher ideal they are fighting for. It's about their pockets. In essence, bandits do not claim to be ideologically motivated. But the boundary between the two is increasingly becoming blurred, because they now use the same strategy. For example, just like bandits, terrorists and insurgents are now known to have raided communities. They have looted property, foodstuff, livestock, and then abducted civilians. They do this thing because they need more money in order to buy more weapons.
The symposium and book launch had in attendance representatives from the Nigerian Police Force, the Armed Forces of Nigeria, the Nigerian Correctional Service, traditional leaders, and other security stakeholders. The unveiling of the books titled Countering Banditry in Nigeria and the Nigerian Police Force and the Dynamics of Election Security Management System in Nigeria was the high points of the event.
3. Wow, please, can you clap? Can you clap?
The convener and author of the books, DIG Habila Joshak, retired, spoke on his motivation and the importance of the book to the Nigerian states.
Some of the things that I do, while active, I should be able to put them down for others. Particularly, I'm from the security sector. And you also know too that I had the opportunity to spearhead the management of crisis in the country as the Deputy Inspector General of Police, heading the operations department. There are a lot of things that we've seen, the gap that we've seen, some of the things that we're supposed to have done and have not done, some of the things that government and Nigeria themselves would have done, and we saw that it was not done. We want to put them down so that we can look at them and then practicalize them. People becoming bandits or what have you. When you study the underlying factors, like what we've seen today, then we'll be capable of trying to ensure that we follow the same path, the path that will produce results, and the results that are positive. It's not about bringing criminals and bringing such people down. By the time you take them down, there are going to be other ones coming up. And so we have an opportunity to tell the government what we've seen, and we have an opportunity to go into research that can be converted into action.
Ernest Enuneku, Security Watch Africa, Abuja.
Welcome back. Like you can see, we are in the main conference hall of the Stellenbosch University Institute of Advanced Studies, where this 2 days symposium is taking place. Today, indeed, in fact, is the concluding day, the last day, where the brainstorming of those who are passionate about issues of blue economy across Africa have been brainstorming for 2 days. The lead speaker was indeed the Nigerian Chief of Naval Staff, where he actually stated what Nigeria is doing in area of blue economy and maritime security. You'll be getting bits of that in subsequent editions of this program, but watch this report and hear what Shuli Danes had to tell us about this symposium.
The Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has convicted and sentenced motor tanker Heroic Idu for violating and committing economic crime in the Nigerian waters. The MT Heroic Idu was sentenced to pay $7,000 penalty for the charge, as well as $15 million as restitution to Nigeria, and to offer public apologies in the print and electronic media in Nigeria, as well as to the Lloyd's list prior to the release of the vessel and crew. This was disclosed during his lead paper presentation at the International Symposium organized by Security Watch Africa Initiatives in partnership with its partner Stellenbosch University in Stellenbosch, South Africa, by the Nigerian's Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Awal Zubairu Gambo.
Motor tanker Heroic Eden, a super tanker of about 336 meters long, 60 meters in breadth, with a capacity of 3 million barrels, which was intercepted on 7th August last year while attempting to load crude oil at Akpo oil field offshore Bonny without authorization. Regrettably, the vessel refused to respond to instructions from a Nigerian Navy ship vectored to prevent her from illegal bunkering. Motor tanker Heroic Eden subsequently proceeded towards the Nigeria-Satome Joint Development Zone and deliberately raised a false piracy incident indicative of her encounter with a Nigerian Navy ship or man of war. The ship was eventually arrested on 10th August 2022 at Equatorial Guinea through activation of collective arrangements of the Nigerian Navy under the Yaoundé Code of Conduct. Please permit me to, though they are not present, especially appreciate the regional collaborative support from Equatorial Guinea Navy for the arrest of MT Heroic Idu and her transfer to Nigeria, which further gives credence to regional collaboration as a critical factor in curbing transnational maritime crimes.
He spoke further on the process for the arrest and conviction of motor tanker Heroic Idu.
Motor tanker Heroic Eden and crew were transferred to Nigeria on 12th September 2022 and arraigned at the Federal High Court. The case was adjourned from 21st February to 24th March, and the final hearing was last April on 28th of April this year, sequel to an agreement on plea bargain initiative by the law firm defending the vessel and crew. Motor tanker Heroic Eden was convicted and sentenced to pay $7,000 as penalty for the charge, as well as $15 million as restitution to Nigeria.
Speaking on maritime security and sustaining blue economy in the contents of Africa's Agenda 2063, the Nigerian Naval Chief enumerated some of the responses, capability, and law enforcement of the Navy.
An appropriate response capability with right mix of ships and air assets for interdiction, as well as interrogate vessels of interest and subsequently board, search and seize or effect arrest is expedient for maritime security and economic prosperity. Notably, the response capability displayed by the Nigerian Navy led to the successful boarding of hijacked Portuguese vessel MT Tommy Richer and the rescue of 11 crew from pirates within the Gulf of Guinea in April 2020. Similarly, motor tanker Halophane 2, a Chinese fishing vessel, was effectively boarded by the Nigerian Navy to dislodge pirates who had taken over the vessel and heading towards an unknown destination. The coordinated response capability operation led to the timely rescue of 18 crew and arrest of 10 pirates,
In an exclusive interview after his presentation, Admiral Gambo gave his views on the symposium and Nigeria's leading role in the Gulf of Guinea.
It's a very good platform to speak on blue economy and security in Africa, which I consider, or which is the future of the world. Coming to Cape Town and communing with our colleagues from South Africa, honestly, without any pretension, to me, is a huge success. Nigeria has been playing a great role, with all humility, in the Gulf of Guinea region. Perhaps the responsibility will only increase because, like I said in my presentation, all fingers are not equal. So we cannot take equal burden in the Gulf of Guinea region. Some countries that are more endowed in terms of resources and equipment must sacrifice to make sure that the maritime commons remain safe for commercial businesses to thrive. Because if you don't make efforts to combat the maritime security situations, then the crime will come to your shore and you have more to contend with. But if you try to protect your maritime environment and support your neighbors, then you can be sure that together the ceiling of communication will be free and businesses will thrive unhindered.
Shirley Daniels, reporting for Security Watch Africa.
Yeah, welcome back. Like you can see, the 2-day symposium was actually put together by Security Watch Africa and its partner, the Stellenbosch University, through the Faculty of Military Science. And I tell you, it was quite an interesting 2-day session brainstorming to work out a better way for the blue economy in Africa. And the report or the communique is being worked on right now as you speak. By Monday, it will be submitted to the continental body, the African Union, and the ECOWAS, which is in West Africa, also the SADC, and on the Eastern African Commission. They will all be presented with the findings of this 2-day symposium. Really, I must tell you that we are proud to be the initiators of this 2-day symposium with the support from our partners, the Stellenbosch University, and other organizations and individuals who believe that blue economy indeed is the next level in terms of resources for our continent, Africa. Before we go, let us just show you a snippet, very beautiful and indeed colorful parade by the Nigerian Army personnel as part of some say once maybe in a service time, because the last time it was done was many years ago, the color parade, and I think about 10 years ago was the last one, if I'm not mistaken. But to have it now, some officers feel so honored to experience this, and luckily, the president was the reviewing officer or the main man, and what a way to say goodbye to him. They're talking about President Muhammadu Buhari. Kudos again to the Chief of the Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya. On this note, we'll sign off here today. Next week, we'll bring you another exciting edition of this program, maybe in the studio or from another location. But like we always say, you have to be security conscious. Make sure you protect yourself and keep yourself safe. That is the only way you can plan better for tomorrow. Until next week, I say stay blessed and bye for now.
His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari, Grand Commander of the Federal Republic. Nigerian Army, moving a presentation of class parade, 300 in our Katsina State on M23, which is the biggest parade in the history of the Nigerian Army. The map plan we are displaying this morning contains the headquarters of Nigerian Armed Forces, the settlement and hand them over to the ensigns right in front of them. Your Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, what you are witnessing now is the display of the colors.
A présenté le couleur aux 4 premiers bataillons d'infanterie et l'armée nigérienne qui comprennent les premières.
The national and the regimental corps.
I wish to commend all Nigerians for their perseverance, support, to state that the country will continue to rely on support from all segments of the Nigerian society.